Right then, part two to the last video there, which was called "My Mission Has Never Changed: Educate the Megalithic Community." I'm sorry that it wasn't all made into one video. It's because I haven't yet downloaded my movie maker, so I wasn't able to edit it, add things and show you images in HD and make it all into one video for you. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, many of you were just pleased to have something to watch. So here we go with part two. I will speed along with this. The main thing that I wanted to prove to you was showing you the giant artifact that had been destroyed, like the handprint at Saxe-Huaman. Yes, since I exposed that. So here we go then with part two. There's not going to be a part three. We will move forward with other artifacts. I will get into why I'm showing you this again. I am going to make another video, because this is what I was into originally, was showing artifacts. Because until I got into this, when I severed myself from the megalithic side of things, the closest they ever got to showing ancient technology, which they're always rattling on about, is just showing saw marks, core drill holes in stone, right? And I have shown you that 90% of those are just imprints of technological pieces, and the spirals in them are just where they've been milled down, and they're just imprints in rock. I've made a video on it, I've shown it a few times, but I am going to make it another video showing every single petrified technology pieces, technological machines and high-tech building methods, which could only have been made by a civilization as advanced as what we are. Okay, that video, I've got that much of it now that video will be almost half an hour long, and I will do it in the way where I compare modern artifacts alongside ancient ones, whether via a split screen or just one after the other. But I will do that with every single artifact that I show you, to leave you in no doubt as to what I'm showing. It will be the best one that I've shown so far. So like an example like this is Egypt. This is Egypt, right? And you've got this thing here, and they will, because they've given you the paradigm of the Stone Age came first, yeah, as if they were just making everything from stone. I mean, how backward can you be? So basically what you've got here is it's part of a machine. You can see where the edges have actually been knocked off. It looks almost like some type of cog. They've either knocked it off on purpose, or it's just because it's been rolling around, and as it's petrified, it's just rounded off. But it was like some type of cog, and you can see this is a square hole here, where a square bar will have gone in there, and this thing will have rotated at high speeds. Okay, I mean, that is as good an example as you're ever going to see. This thing here is the best artifact that I have ever shown on this type of stuff, because it's obviously some type of flywheel, right? And the reason why you've got a larger indentation, because that's all it is now, it's an imprint of, it's not petrified, it's an imprint as everything rusted away. Whatever this material is leached into the voids and just left a perfect imprint of what it was. So that's a flywheel. So then you get a larger bar that goes in there, yeah, that spins this around, that, you know, that's connected via all these. It goes in there and spins around, and then turns an even larger axle, yeah. Well, you know, it's via an axle, right? And then you can make them bigger and bigger, right? So that's what, in fact, every single piece that you see on the floor here, you know, these are not just random pieces of stone. They are from the same machine that has just collapsed down and petrified on the floor. As I say, I will show you more of this when I make that video, just like this one here. Again, you can see the shape of it. There's a few, I mean, this thing here, you've got a hole there where an axle, a bar, will go inside. The reason why it's shaped like that is to give it more force, yeah. So, you know, you've got your bar in there, then you will connect something down onto it that's shaped like this, and as it spins, it's able to shove, you know, the rest of this, because it will have, you know, the reason why it's like that is because this will have been a huge lump of steel. So it, you know, rather than just being able to turn it with a bar, it needed something to shove on. So they, you know, they have this. That's the only reason why you've got that shape there, and the reason why I know for a fact that what I've just told you is the truth. And that's why when we see things like this, they always tell you that these things were for shutting doors. You know, they would roll these things into place. A huge stone door, you know, that they rolled into place, as if these people were just backward. I mean, what's more technical, really? Being able to carve things out of wood, which, you know, that's what you would do. It would be far easier. You would make it out of wood, a contraption, a door. But I mean, I don't even think it's that. It's obviously not for a door. It is for some kind of water wheel, some kind of device for, you know, helping water to come down here. I mean, this is deep underground now, but again, I've told you, anything that they say is an underground city was above ground at one time, no matter how deep this is. And when you look at the walls of it, you know, I mean, archaeologists see this stuff, and they see these big gouges in here, and they see that as where somebody's been carving this stuff away. Now, yes, it is soft. You would be able to come down here and carve this stuff out, no problem, right? But you wouldn't, because it's that soft, right? And that saturated water comes through here that often that you wouldn't risk coming down here and being buried alive, right? It's obviously some type of contraption that was above ground at one time, and it's shaped in the exact same way as this. And again, they would tell you that this is from the Stone Age, right? But yet, you know, this is shaped in the exact same way that we make whatever this is today. The reason why I put these in, I couldn't find it. I've just spent half an hour to try and find you. Many of you will know what I'm talking about when I say this. There's an artifact in Egypt, and it's a wheel, right? And they've got some type of carving on it, which has either been done, you know, 100 years ago when they were excavating this stuff and faking the Egyptian paradigm, which I've told you is basically a theme park. They've created it. But yeah, there's some type of carving on it of a king, right? And this thing here has still got wood inside it, and that's probably what you do. I'm going to show you something shortly that will prove to you that that's what this was. It was not for rolling in front of a door, for God's sake. It's part of a machine, right? That's either an imprint, you know, from the ways I've told you, from it rusting away, running into voids, or it's petrified, or it's been on the bottom of the ocean and all this has formed on it and it's come to the surface and dried, or this is mud rock that's a layer of an inch or so that's hardened over what's inside, right? But that's what it is. And when you look at this, there's about 3 different layers to this thing. It's part of a machine. Right, this is really why what I was talking about yesterday, because I was proving to you that they have been hiding history, and I said that this artifact, I showed you how these were ball joints here, exactly the same way that you've got 2 ball joints on the end of your arm or leg, yeah, and then they fit you know, with the cartilage in here, and you get this exact same shape. You can go have a look at anatomical pictures of the body if you don't believe me. And the reason why it's red is because it's got iron inside it. These square holes have been put in here, I don't know when, by ancient people, because they knew what this was, and it was almost hollow in the first place because it's a body part of a giant, or it's been done to fake it and make it look like some type of structure. But how we know that I'm right about those ball joints, again, I'm sorry for getting into it, but the next image is going to prove to you that I must be right, because they've knocked this off. That is exactly the same shape as a bone. Now, I thought it was something like a rib cage. It almost looks like a collarbone to me. You see these little ridges here, right? It's exactly, and I'm talking about exactly the same shape. And when you look at the end here, you can even see part of the marrow. Go look at these types of bones like collarbones, and you will know that this is part of a giant, this entire thing here, right? But I said that they'd knocked this off, and if they have knocked it off, then I must be correct in what I'm saying, yeah? So here's the next image. Right, I'm sorry, you know, that it's from here and the tree's in the way, but you can see it right there. In fact, I can zoom in for you. Right, hold on. Just to leave you in no doubt as to what I'm talking about. Right, so you can see that that has been knocked off there, yeah, and it's been done recently, because that's why it's a different colour. You see that green there, and it's flat. I will move it down for you to show you that where the end of the bone was does not exist anymore. I want you to go to my Google page, and I want you to check this to know that you know, the videos I've made on giants, I've made 3, haven't I, of the finest work, the finest finds that you will find and ever come across on giants. You know, because I mean, what, for the last decade, anybody that's made a video on giants has been showing the same information, the same news articles, the same pictures, over and over and over again, until I came across and decided to take this further and see, you know, if this thing was real. And again, there you go. Right, so going back to what I showed you there about machines, this is what they would call a grinding stone, right? You know, but I mean, to move something like this and to grind you know, metal down and things like that, it has to be powered by, you know, you can't just do it by your legs. Just have some old woman there sat in a little dress just pedaling on something as if she's knitting, right? This is metal actually, and this is a, you know, a grinder, okay? And the reason why I'm showing you that is because there's this artifact. I've known about this for some time, right? I'm just going to tell you up straight, like I always do. I will never lie to you. I don't know where this is, but I can tell you that it's been presented on many megalithic sites on Facebook, YouTube, and all over the place. Has been something. Yes, so it's not so much a grinding stone. It's basically like a sandpaper that they have ground diamonds on. Okay, so it's obviously something more technical, and I think this appears to be an imprint of what I'm talking about. You can even see that the center is actually a hexagon shape to slot something in to give it some pull. You wouldn't have it as a complete circle because it would drag unless it was bolted into position, but I mean it would still work its way free. So you would have to have it in that shape, which is another just something to add to the paradigm that it could be what I'm talking about. And again, the edges appear to have been rounded off, right? So yes, I think it is something ancient, just something interesting. But the only one that I am going to say, might be something else, or even just from an earlier era. But anyway, the videos I've made two called Egyptian statues, and they are an absolute must watch if you are new to this channel and you're finding the information difficult to get into, because I can imagine, I mean, when I just left the megalithic community, if I would have come across this information, it would have taken me some time. I would have been leaving comments galore, and probably have even been banned, right? Because I was so deep into their narrative. And I mean, I've got books from them, and I believed everything they said. So anyway, I showed in those videos how I use the word all a lot. Let's just say 95% of all Egyptian statues were made from wood, right? I've showed that. If you watch those videos, you will come out of the other end, if you watch them both especially, completely shocked, and you will know that I am completely right. And just like this, you will see things like this where they obviously connected the beard, more than likely because they had to be built in sections, or when these things got damaged they had to be replaced. So you would knock the beard off and replace it. That's what appears to have happened. Actually, it looks like it's been carved in one piece. You can see where it's been chopped, and then they've connected another piece. Yeah, so now you're thinking, well, why hasn't this one turned into some of the rock? Because there's various types. Well, it turns into various types of rock depending on where it's been buried, what material it's been buried in, yeah, how long it's been left, what type of event it was, and things like that, things that we don't know of, right? And the reason why this is one of the main images of those videos on Egyptian statues, and they were built, I mean, these are not quite dovetails, but you can see how these things were built in sections and put together. Everything you see here is presented in mainstream archaeology, and the megalithic community as a whole has all been rock cut from machines, right? But yet we've got these things here, and what they are is that you snap the front section into the back section, and the snap into place. That's the only reason why you have that. If there's anybody that works on wood, is a carpenter, and they see things like that, they will know that I am talking more sense than just about anything that they've ever heard on this stuff. When you look at this thing here, can you see the beard? Again, it might have been replaced. It looks like that, and you can see how it's a different colour, the shape, how it's been cut free. Then it's been placed into position via a square hole, stuck with some type of glue in the same way we would today. Even the nose, so it looks like this thing fell over at some point, and even the ears have been replaced, right? But yet it's turned into this stone, whatever material it is. I don't care. Don't be asking me questions about how this stuff turns into this. It makes no difference, does it, when you're looking at the evidence? You know, look at the evidence first, that this thing could not have been carved from one piece of rock when you've got this here. So you look at the evidence first, and then you come up with the explanation afterwards, right? This one here, you see that square hole there? It's the same again, and you can literally see the tree rings on this thing. This one looks like it's been buried in kind of soft clay more than anything else. But you can see how it was put together, right? So you compare that to the last image I've just shown you. And now I might just throw the rest of the images at you through and just layer some music over, you know, because all this stuff is just imprints of how we build skyscrapers today. You build them in these big box sections to layer your floors on out of concrete, right, that's got rebar in it, and then you're able to build floors higher and higher, you know. So that's that. So the second part of this video, like I say, I'll probably just throw images at you. Yes, I will get into this. Okay, I've tried to be funny here. You've got these archaeologists and they're stood in this mud, because again, I told you yesterday I will be making a video showing you just how buried the entire earth plane is in sand and silt, with you know, where it hasn't been disturbed by modern day building like projects, right? And wherever it's natural, it's only got an inch or two of topsoil over it. So this event must have happened very, very recently, and that we are very, very new to whatever this reality is, right? The explanations mainstream archaeology comes up with is that this stuff is worm poo, and that's why you get a build up like this. This guy's saying no, all this sand has been blown here. You've heard that before, that it's been blown over from Africa, right? But then you've got places like Machu Picchu. I'm just giving you one example there that's on top of mountains, right? And when you look at the old original images, they were completely buried, right? So let's just take this into account. So then you've got worm poo and sand being blown in. Now, don't you think that the wind and rain would have washed all this stuff back down the mountain before it even settled? Because that's what she knows would have happened. Right, these are the images that I finished with yesterday. exactly how we build things today, whether it's structural or ships, you know, anything that's going to take a lot of stress. You have to build them in these box sections because they bend. You know, you can't just build something solid because it will crack. I've got into this in previous videos. I've shown you modern and ancient examples. I've done enough work on this already. I don't need to get into it again. It was built from wood and plaster, and then it was hit with superheated ash. The entire area was.